Hello everybody, welcome to Devotion to Writing, a channel devoted to helping you cultivate a daily writing practice. Today, I'd like to share with you a story about my grandmother. I think you'll see why it's an appropriate story to our writing, to our creative process. I thought about sharing it today because, first of all, her life has inspired me. And whenever I think about what she accomplished at her age, in her old age, the things that she did, that she accomplished through her work and her actions, this always helps me to realize that whatever heavy lifting I'm attempting, I can do it. And the second reason I wanted to share it is because I just think it's a good metaphor, a good analogy for our own creative practice, our own writing practice, and what we can accomplish when we are devoted. And so the story is that my grandmother, she was a dairy farmer in Pennsylvania. She took care of 30 head of cows every day. 30 years, if you know anything about dairy farming, you know that the cows need to be fed and milked twice a day. There are no days off. Doesn't matter if you're sick. If it's sleeting, if it's 105 degrees, you still need to go and take care of them. They depend on you. After she had finished her work as a dairy farmer, it just got too heavy, too much work for someone who was approaching her 80s. She moved to a small farm in rural Pennsylvania and built a small farmhouse. And there, after the farmhouse was finished, she decided that she wanted to terrace with a stone wall in front of her house, which was built on a hill. She wanted to terrace this hillside so that she could plant flowers out in the front. And so she couldn't afford really to pay anybody to do this work. And I don't know that it would even have occurred to her that why she would pay someone to do it. She could do it herself. And so she planned this wall, which turned out to be about 50 feet long and 2 to 3 feet high in order to terrace it the way that she needed it, to level it off enough to plant it. And so this is what she did. Now, as I said, she was a dairy farmer, so she was accustomed to hard work. She was accustomed to the routines that it would take to do anything. She just was used to it. But another routine that she had, and I don't know how long she kept this up, but she certainly had it in the last several years of her life, was that she would make a list, a to-do list, each day before she went to bed. And so these were the things she wanted to accomplish the following day. For 3 years, the time that it would take her to build this wall, the first thing that she wrote at the top of the list every night was bring up a stone. Bring up a stone. And so every morning, first thing, regardless of the weather, she'd go into the basement, get her red radio flyer wagon, these little red toy wagons that you see. I think we all may have had one, or perhaps they're still around. I know my kids had one. Anyway, she would get the radio flyer wagon out of the basement, take it down the hill to the pond where there was this large pile of flat field stones, perfect for building this stone wall. She'd tip the wagon on its side, take her hoe, coax the stone into the wagon, right the wagon, tow the wagon up the stone hill about 250 yards to where she was building this wall. Then she'd employ the same tactics to get the stone out, tip it on its side, coax the stone out with the hoe, put it into place, work it into place, and that was her work for the day. 1 stone a day for 3 years. And she finished the terrace, 50 feet long, 2-3 feet high. At 81 years old she started, so she would have been 84 when she finished. So how does this apply to our writing, to our creative work, to anything we want to create in our lives? Well, we can have a grand vision of what we want to make, but it only gets made. It only gets made in a real way through the daily small lifting, the daily actions that we take towards that dream or that goal. So if you want to write 1 page a day. Make that your priority. Make a to-do list and say, on that to-do list, write today. Or write, whatever it is, write today. Bring up one stone and set that on top of all the other stones that you've brought up all the other days, and you will accomplish what you set out to accomplish. So I thought this would also make for a useful writing prompt today, and that's what I'll give you. So you can, after hearing this prompt, you could pause this video and write the prompt, or you can just continue listening and write the prompt at the end of the video, whatever works for you. But the prompt is, the things I carry. The things I carry. So, as I said, you can pause the video now and write on the things I carry for however much time you need. 5 minutes, 1 hour, then whatever you need. Come back to the video and finish watching, or we'll just continue. So, just note that nothing is created all at once. And we can easily get bogged down in the sheer scale of the things that we want to do, right? I want to write a novel. Well, then we start thinking about all the pages that it's going to take, all the stories we want to tell, all the stories we have in us to tell. And they just can be overwhelming. How do we tell all of those stories, right? Well, we only have to bring up one stone a day. You don't have to write the entire memoir at once. And thinking about that in the totality, so thinking about the totality of a novel, the totality of a memoir, the totality of whatever dream we have, just quickly overwhelms us, okay? You can't bring up all the stones to the wall at once. Not at 81 years old, and not at 21 years old, or not any years old in between. But all of us can bring up one stone a day. So set an intention. Write one thing. Write one thing today. Write one page. Write one paragraph. Write one thought. Do it today, and do it tomorrow. Do it the next day. Keep working in the direction of this grand vision, this dream of yours to, as my grandmother had, this terrace her yard and plant these beautiful gardens. That was the grand vision, was the gardens. In order to get the gardens, she had to go down the hill and grab one stone and drag it back up the hill and put it into place. She did that, and her work was done for the day. There's so much accomplishment in that too. We get such a feeling of satisfaction of having moved in the direction of our dreams. So don't stop to see how much there is to do or to think about. Don't think about all the days ahead of you that you have to work. All you have to do is go down with your hands and bring up one stone and add this to what you're building. And then, like my grandmother, when she was done, get up from your desk. Well, in her case, she went back up the hill to the house, but in our case, maybe it's get up from the desk, push back from the computer, shut the notebook, have something to eat, have something to drink, go for a walk, sit, and just feel the satisfaction in showing up and accomplishing one thing toward the beautiful thing you're growing. This thing that you're growing, by the way, it's your life. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. Take it to whatever you're working on creatively and apply it and see if it benefits your work. If you want to find out more about the work that I do, you can visit devotiontowriting.com. I offer online workshops, also in-person workshops and retreats. Also, if you got something out of this video, please subscribe. That would be wonderful. I'd appreciate it. And if you have a friend or someone you know, care about, you think would benefit from this video, please share it with them. And I hope to see you back here again. Thanks for tuning in.